Hello and welcome to Illumination Podcast with Nick and Kisma. I'm Kisma, and today's episode is how to manage the annoying cousin, aka that person you can't stand. This is going to be a good one, everyone. We're so glad we're here, and thank you for tuning in. Hello and welcome to Illumination Podcast with Nick and Kisma, bringing you ancient wisdom for modern day success so that you can have the mindset to get your life and business set.
As always, thank you for tuning in. And if you're new to the podcast, take a quick second to hit the subscribe button in iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. If you want to get the inside info for this and every episode, as well as some free gifts, go to illuminationacademy.net/podcasts. And now let's dive in to get your mindset for your life and business set.
Well, hello there, Nick.
Hey there, Kisma.
What's going on over there?
Well, I'm excited I'm always excited. I think that's the first thing I always say. I'm always excited.
You love podcasting.
I really do enjoy it. And in recording that album,
yes,
I've been learning a lot about audio production.
You have.
So it's fun for me to come back to this with fresh eyes and fresh ears and have a little bit different setup, get it dialed in more and everything. Like, it's cool. Like, I geek out on that stuff.
Yeah.
So
speaking of album, Nick has his soft launch of his singing bowl. What's the name of it?
Mystic Sound Healing.
Mystic Sound Healing.
I was really tempted to get fancy with it. And, I was like, I call it this or call it that. And I was like, dude.
Mystic Sound Healing.
Yeah. Just like Led Zeppelin, right?
So is it for real out or is it almost out?
It is. You can buy it. Yeah. And it's all like all the tracks are.
Where can they buy it?
They can buy it at mysticsoundhealing.net.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all up on there. I'm just waiting. The reason I'm calling it a soft launch is because I'm waiting for the album art.
And it's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome.
India is doing it.
Because the thing that I put together was not great.
It was cute.
It was cute. It was a try. As we mentioned in the last episode, my eye for design is not stellar.
Yeah, we're just going to move on from there.
I'm the audio guy.
You are the audio guy, and I'm semi-design, but
you're good. I'm like
okay.
Your stuff.
I'm okay, but we've been blessed to have some really great support out there. So again, we're popping back in with the Illumination Podcast in ways that we want to be really impactful for our listeners. And so we asked some of our clients and students to share what questions they would love for us to talk about. And one of them was relationships.
So this is by far the one of the most frequently asked questions.
So I'm sure that we will be back in talking about relationships in different ways, but this one specifically is about, and we kind of made fun in the title, that annoying cousin, but it could be that annoying neighbor.
Sure.
It could be that person that you end up having Thanksgiving or Easter dinner with.
Coworker. That's pretty.
Boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boss. It could be a roommate. It could be your current partner or spouse. But somebody that you're just like, I can't stand them, or I can't get along with them, or why do they act that way? I think that's the thing that we often hear, right, Nick?
Yeah. What's going on here? Well, we hear a couple different things. I always find it interesting that people are, I think, attracted to the conversation that we're having because they're interested in the spirituality, kind of has the universal law aspect, this kind of ancient wisdom thing. And it always comes back around in some way, shape, or form. It always comes back around to the people in our lives and relating to these people. And so one of the ways that shows up is it's just like a person that they're trying to manage. Okay. Like we mentioned, it could be any different context, but like it's triggering for them. It's annoying for them. One of the questions that they usually ask is, well, what am I doing to cause this? Which I think is a really cool, like it's a testament to the work that they've done on themselves because
attract these people in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause they're asking the right question of like, well, let's assume that I'm the cause of the things in my life. So what tell me, what's the deal here? And it's a little bit of a tricky dance because yes, that's absolutely true. And people have agency to be and choose whatever they want. And people are inherently unpredictable. So
every person is unique. Yes. Every single person on the planet is unique. We have something to look at here, everyone. There's like how many billions of people on the planet right now?
I think we just crossed 8 billion.
That's a lot of humans. It's a lot of desires. It's a lot of opinions. It's a lot of cultures. It's a lot of vasanas. It's a lot of everything. And so we are not going to like everyone. We're not going to agree with everyone. My wish is that we could disagree with more compassion and respect than what we're doing now on the planet. I think we're definitely doing a disservice to humanity the way we're treating each other. It's horrific. But let's bring it back to our own personal universes. I said something I don't know whether it was Prosperity Code Live. Is it okay if I start with this one?
Yeah.
Do you want to ask me the question?
No.
Oh, could you just say, hey, kids?
Well, Kisma, what do you think is most relevant? What would you recommend, as far as understanding the problems and the dynamics at play, as well as, what can you do about this in order to, create a positive impact or create a positive shift in the dynamic of the relationship?
Okay, thanks. I just wanted to feel like
was that good? I was trying to come up with like an intelligent
feel like I was
question.
On View or something, God, love those, whatever. So I said something at one of the trainings and people kind of gasped. But it's really important is that the person in front of you has a right to be here. Because let's face it, when we're feeling angry or annoyed or triggered with someone, what is one of those fleeting thoughts? Like, who do they think they are? Like, who do they think they are? Why do they have to live here? Why do they have to do that? And it's common, but let's just level the playing ground. They have a right to be here and they have a right to be themselves. Just like we have a right to be ourselves. So I think when we start with that, it kind of shakes it up a bit. It's like, oh, okay. And then if you want to take the spiritual component is they are also one with universe, with source, with God, whatever word you're using, they are a spiritual being having this physical experience too.
Yeah. And something we were just talking about today is that person has a full potential too.
They have a full potential. I'm going to let you talk about that because that'll, when I'm done, because I'm not done being interviewed yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll punt it back over. Give me my space here.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding.
Let Kisma be Kisma. I got a Kisma smackdown right there, everybody. Just a gentle
I'm sort of joking because we're talking about relationships. So the person in front of you has a right to be here. What do you do when you're like in it and it's like fingernails on the chalkboard? First off is you are looking at a person that is filled with experiences, past experiences, as are you. So when your lens is really clean, meaning you're doing your own work. And so as Nick mentioned, one of the great questions we'll get from our clients is, what did I do to attract this? You look at that, but more importantly, what are you doing to be able to see this person without taking on their stuff and taking it personally? So when your lens is really clear, you can look at this person and imagine the buffer between you because you have compassion and you have understanding that they are, I think as one of Greg Hartley on the behavior panel, I just love that guy, says, they are an organism and the organism keeps doing what it has done that has worked. Whatever their personality, however they're doing to get triggered, that's it. So you look at them as like they're this bundle of vasanas, of desires, of experiences, and that will allow you to have a different level of objectivity.
Yeah. Reasons.
Chase Hughes says reasons.
Yeah.
So
I look at it as desires.
Yeah. The Vedanta thing is vasanas, desires.
Yeah.
We're all a bundle of desires, everyone. So the reason we're going here is like, think about, you're having a conversation, you're about to get hooked, you're about to get triggered. Your mind, like you can think of, there's a part of you that goes over, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to look at this person as all of this stuff, not all of this stuff coming to me, but all of this stuff. So you kind of remove from what is annoying and you look at it with fascination.
Watching the show.
Watching the show. So the yogis call this being a sakshi, a witness. You're watching from the balcony and it's like a movie's going on, even though you're right in front of them. And I don't mean balcony, you're better than them, but you're objective and you're watching the show.
Yeah, I love that. Vadim Zalen speaks about stepping down off the stage.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's very similar. You know, and Swamiji's used that reference. How many
He's
times?
up in the balcony. I like being in the balcony.
What does he say? The Shakespeare quote. We're all, actors on a stage. Basically, we have our entrances and exits. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's being able to step off and see that. Yeah, I think that's super powerful.
So that to me is the most effective way, is just I'm watching this person be this bundle of desires and reasons and whatever, and making the decision to not take it on.
Yeah. Take it. Well, what is that first agreement? I think don't take things personally. Oh man.
The other thing is, and this is probably going to be a whole different show, but understand like, what is it that they need? Like if you really, I'm going to use this word lightly, but if you're in control of the situation, you're not going to get as triggered. So what I mean by that is, okay, you're watching this person, you're seeing this person. What can you do to give them just a little dopamine hit, just a little happy pill? If they're complaining, they probably need you to just say, oh man, that's really rough. Like that's really rough. Just say it once or twice and then change the subject. Or if they love to be, the main event at the party, just be like, dude, you look awesome. Look at you go. Like, who cares? Make it fun for you. Like you're learning how to speak with people and understand people so that it isn't personal, but you're watching the change in them. And that makes it a different interaction. It's more fun.
Totally. And I think if you're doing it from the place of like,
okay, you can go now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think if you're doing it from the place of trying to manipulate or control their behavior, it's going to feel really crappy for you. It's going to feel weird. Mm-hmm. But if you're doing it from the place of like, I am wanting to bring out the best in this person, really call out the best or help them feel seen, heard, help them feel awesome, help them really just feel great about themselves and whatever. Mm-hmm. That can be really powerful from that kind of a place. I want to approach this from a little bit different perspective too, and understanding that you're having a reaction because of your reasons, what's going on inside of you. Ooh. And so if you go back to our last episode and talk about that kind of separation of self and discomfort, looking at, that aspect of you that's having that might be a little challenging in the moment when you're, having a conversation with somebody else, or, needing to interact with them directly. But it's certainly something to come back to and pay attention to. When you reflect on your day, you might notice it a time when you felt that discomfort, you were really annoyed by that person. Maybe you got downright angry at them and, maybe you even lashed out. Heck, who knows, but it's really helpful to look at that from an objective perspective and say like, well, what was going on inside of me that caused that? Right. And go past the surface of, well, they're being a jerk and they're being this way, or they're doing that weird thing. And really look at, okay, well, like, why is that so wrong? Why did I make that so wrong to have this reaction? And why did I take that on? Yeah. So that's part of it. And then the other part of it that goes along with it is recognizing your tolerance for it. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Good one. I talk about this a lot at home.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important to know that it's you. Right. There's nothing wrong with them. It's your inability to deal with it effectively. That is the real problem. This is leaving out abusive situations. Right.
Toxicity.
Like yeah. We're not talking about that. We're talking about challenging people, the annoying cousin, that person, we all know that person. So it's recognizing your tolerance and knowing when to tap out and knowing how to do that gracefully. Yeah. And it's, my best advice around this is less is more.
Less is more.
You don't owe people an explanation. Certainly don't tell them I can't deal with you anymore. I mean, I guess you could, but I don't think that's going to really help the situation. Yeah. maybe I don't know, we could go down into the specifics. That's the tricky part about talking about relationships like this, is that there's so many different contexts and it's different in all of them.
I mean, there's just a boundless amount of shows we could do on this. We probably will.
We could make a whole podcast about it, which we won't.
Yeah. We'll just stay with this one.
We'll stick with this one. But anyway, is being able to do that gracefully, you know, and not over explaining why, you know, you know, they want more of your time or whatever, you know, they want to, I'm not available.
Yeah.
You don't need to explain why you're not available. In general, you really don't need to explain that to anybody. Just, can't do it, you know? That's where people get themselves into a lot of trouble, and they set up those difficult dynamics. Because let's say it's a friend that, you know, you're just not really up for hanging out with, and they really want you to, and you just don't feel like it, right? You're like, I'm just not available. When you start to over explain, I've got this and this and this, they're going to find if they're really adamant, they're going to chip away at your argument and make reasons for you to hang out with them. And then you're in that kind of weird dynamic, you know, but if you just leave it like, I'm just not available.
What if you're right in front of someone and the conversation's going on? You're like, I got to get out of here.
Oh, excuse me.
Excuse me.
I mean, I don't know. I just keep it really simple.
Yeah.
You know, excuse me.
Yeah.
Or excuse myself to the restroom.
You know, this is really good because I remember, I'm not saying names because it was years ago, but there was a couple that we would run into at events, and, you know, they were really charming and fun, but they had a line that they used too much, which is, we got to go check out of our room. We got to go check out of our room.
I don't remember this.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think you said that yesterday, and we're here again, and you're saying it again. And you could tell it was like their code word of not wanting to talk to certain people, which then just kind of left me thinking, well, yuck, you know, you don't want to talk to me. Okay.
Yeah.
It was weird. And I knew, I just read it. So don't do that. Don't be the weird person that you have this, people can read through code that you're saying. Just say, excuse me.
Well, yeah, you wind up making excuses and lies, you know,
yeah, it's excuses and lies. And it's not nice.
No, it's just like, keep it simple, you know? What I would say, and to be fair, everybody, like, I'm not the most like socially gracious person. I can be a little awkward at times, you know, I don't know, I guess I'm weird, but I'm very introverted. But besides that, it's been awesome to talk to you.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I want to, you know, or just tell the truth. Like, I like that also, especially at events and things, is I'm going to go mingle a little bit.
Yeah.
And I've had people say that to me, and I'm like, that's awesome. You know, like, I learned that because somebody said that to me.
Or I have to go sit in the corner and cry by myself. Thank you.
Yeah.
Peace out, you know?
Oh my gosh. I've had people tell me I can't remember who it was, but I was at an event and they're like, I've enjoyed talking with you. I need to take a quick little break for myself. And I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the best thing, right?
Thank you for telling me that. Yeah.
It's really great to take that ownership, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, I think if you're honest and don't like bother over explaining things, you're pretty good to go.
Yeah.
You know, like, nobody's going to argue with that.
Yeah.
And I think a little bit of certainty in it as well. Like, you're not asking, you know, I'm not asking, I think I'm going to go mingle.
Yeah. Right. Or is it okay? We stop talking? No.
It's like, it's been awesome to talk to you. I'm going to go mingle a little bit.
Yeah. Or I'm going to go be by myself. You can tell which one I do, everyone. Yeah, that's great. And I think too, that if it's family, so let's get to the family.
Okay. My answer is, I think, going to be mostly the same though. Cause when I
have to go sit in the corner,
when I'm in those family situations, I'm just like, it's been awesome talking to you. You know, but mostly I really enjoy talking to my family. So I don't,
me too. Because I don't see them. But I just think that there's all sorts of different events and things when we get together. Maybe grace plays a role too.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I'm just a big one on that for some reason. Is you might have that aunt who is so annoying, and you get to pause and think, what must it be like to be in her head? Maybe she's lonely. Maybe this is it. Maybe she's just fraught with fear, whatever. The complainers, I'm done. I get done with those really fast. But I guarantee if you have the aunt that's always complaining, if you say a few times, oh my gosh, that's so bad, I can't believe it, they're going to dial it down because they're going to start to realize how they sound. They won't dial it down when we try to say, oh, but try to see it this way. Try to see it. They're going to argue with you. They're going to go to the limit when you try to be positive Polly and they're in like all of their self-pity and complaining. Don't do that. Just be like, oh my gosh, that's the worst. And then exit or watch them change a bit.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, I do. I play the game of, I like to make a game of it for one and try to navigate the conversation, try to guide it in some different ways. Like you're absolutely right. If you actively resist that, you're just going to set it up to amplify.
Yeah.
It's just going to get louder. Okay. But if you non-resistance, right? Like, just like you said, you're so good at knowing the words to say. It's so good. I love listening to it and I always learn stuff. And then I play the game of redirecting and it's just a game to me. Like I'll say weird non sequiturs. I'll just completely change the subject out of nowhere. And then I notice like I try to guide it and really be present with them without, like trying to avoid anything or anything like that. And one of the game that I play is like, well, how long does it take them to circle back around?
Oh my gosh.
Because if I know the person and I know the pattern, I'm like, I know they're going to find a way to circle this back around. And so it just becomes a game and I play it as long as I can. And then you know what to say, right? Oh, it's been awesome talking to you.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
The one other hack you can use if it's really going south and you've just had it is do make a really weird, provocative statement. Like I just looked out the window and I think I saw a blue helicopter. Like what's going on? Shake it up because what will they do? Like, is there a big yellow bird out there? Oh my gosh. Or wait, did somebody just pull down their pants? Like the list is endless and they'll stop and it just kind of shakes everything up. And then you're like, oh, okay, gotta go. Thanks so much. Like, see ya. And they'll just be left kind of, I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah.
And it's really fun.
It is fun. Yeah, that is really fun.
I think the final thing, though, that we have to sort of face here for all of us is usually the things that we can't stand in another person, somewhere we can't stand it in ourselves.
It's true.
So we just have to look at that and don't go like down the rabbit hole, digging or shaming or guilting, but just being like, is there some of that in me? Do I judge in others what's really in me that I'm really, I'm wanting to solve or overcome and do it with a lot of love? I don't know, Nick, what do you think about that?
I think I think it's always really insightful. And that's along the lines of what I mentioned before is, okay, well, what was in me that really triggered that, and being able to answer that question honestly and compassionately.
Right.
Right. Oh man, this person really reminds me of, I don't know, my mother and the way, the way that she used to talk to me, it's really triggering for me. Or, oh, it totally reminds me of that weird, teacher I had or whatever. And who knows, but you can hear those voices come out and you can also see the part of you that had the reaction more clearly. Or,
it can be like this. If you're talking to someone that is highly self-absorbed, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but they're highly self-absorbed, a little bit of drama, and it's like you can't stand it or you just reach a saturation point. I think sometimes you just call it like it's not a personality fit, or someone who's very out there, extrovert, and they're talking to somebody who's very introvert and not getting a reaction. They're going to kind of be like, well, I'm not getting fed. We just have to own it and be like, okay, that's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not for everybody. Everybody's not for you. That's totally okay.
Yeah.
And that brings me back to really my last point on all of this is it does come back to right where we started, which is like a real true respect for that person to be who they are.
And they have a right to be here.
Think about the energy of rejecting that person of being who they are, right? That's a harsh energy.
Yeah.
And that's what we tacitly do when inside of ourselves, we're super annoyed and critical about that person for whatever their behavior is. That's ultimately what we wind up doing to them.
Yeah.
So a real healthy respect. And if you start with that respect, everything else will go easier.
100%. I believe that.
Yeah.
All right. Great. And if you have any other follow-up questions, thoughts, ideas, comment below where you see this or email us at hello@illuminationpodcast.net.
.com.
Okay. We got the com, illuminationpodcast.com. All right, everyone. You're amazing. Thank you for listening. Please share this podcast with a friend, or hey, maybe that annoying cousin, just send it on over. If you've not ever subscribed or rated our podcast, we would appreciate it. And we will see you next time.
Namaste.
Peace. Hey, thanks for jamming with us today. And if you enjoy Illumination Podcast, please go ahead and share it with someone you love. Give us a rating, review, download our podcast. And remember, you can find us at illuminationacademy.net /podcasts. Talk to you soon. Namaste.